good to have, probably, two world-class hookers coaching you. So, no, it's a massive thing for me, and it's a bit of pressure for me to perform. And, I've got hookers, Joe Lum, Vila, behind me, pushing me for my spot. So, no, I've got to perform every week, and beyond Jimmy's 18-man squad, every week. So it's a tough job, but, no, I look forward to the challenge.
Oh, that's good to hear. Fantastic. So, you said you're only young yourself, so might be a bit of an odd question, but when you were a younger lad, who did you admire growing up watching rugby league?
Well, you've got to say, Matt Diskin at Leeds, he did some great things at Leeds, and then you had, James Roby coming through at Saints, and now look at him, St Helens legend. There's quite a few hookers that I look at, but I think it's just one of them. At the end of the day, I think every hooker in the game is different in their own little ways, I don't want to concentrate and put my game onto someone. I think, as Jimmy said, it's an open thing, he just wants me to go and play, so I don't want to say I'm this sort of hooker or I need to do this, I think it's more of what opportunities are there, take them and perform for the team and hopefully come away with the 2 points, really. So no, there's like you say, there's quite a few good hookers, that I look up to, and I still watch now, like you've got Michael McLaurin at Wigan, James Roby, so no, it's a challenge for me to be as good as them one day. I've still got a lot to learn and a lot of improvement in my game still to come, but one day hopefully I'll be as good as them.
Fair point. Okay, so you are widely regarded as one of the bigger young talents in our game at the moment, and particularly given that you're playing in the Championship as well. There's obviously a lot of loving eyes cast your way from people that support Super League sides. Just on the subject of some of the Bulls fans that are listening to us, obviously they admire the loyalty that you've shown to the club. But how close did you ever come to joining Leeds over the winter?
It's one of them. I think it was just a social media rumour. There was no.
Thank God.
Yeah, I think it was just a fans forum. Someone put some up there, and someone caught on to it, and it expanded and went even more. And then there were the rumours of O'Brien signing for Leeds for 125,000. My dad's ringing me saying, "When have you signed for Leeds?" and stuff like that. So it was more. I think it was more rumours than the truth in it.
Was he upset? Was he upset that you'd signed for Leeds, or was he just after a cut of the transfer fee? Do you reckon?
No, we were quite surprised that was worth that much, to be fair.
Every credit. I stopped trying to stitch you up, Adam. Fantastic.
No, I think it was more fan forum, bit of banter, see if we can get a bit of a catch and someone expanding on it. But no, I'm signed to Bradford to the end of the year, and like you said, my challenge is to get him back in Super League, and my focus for this season is to perform every week and getting Jimmy starting 18 and push on and, like you say, get Bradford in that, the Super League and be remembered in history as one of the players who did that, So at the moment my head's focused on the Bulls and getting them back in Super League.
Superb. That's a fantastic ambition from my point of view. We've got a quick few silly ones before we tie things up, Adam. If you weren't playing Rugby League, what would you be doing?
Oh, it's a tough one. I'm a bit of an old man as it comes to. I like me, a bit of pool, a bit of darts, a pub quiz, a bit of crown green bowling. So I'd probably say I'd be an old man sat in a social club playing a bit of darts and a bit of crown green bowling, probably. So yeah, I'd probably say that, an old man sat in the corner.
Super, that's not what I was expecting, but that's great. So who at the club's got the worst dress sense then? Who turns up in the morning and you just think, what have you come as?
I don't know, there's quite a few, there's Tom Alberson who comes in a few bits and bats that you don't really know what he's put together, and also Alex Mellor, he'll come in a full grey tracksuit with these red shiny trainers on, and you just think, has he dressed himself in the dark, you don't really know what they're doing, but yeah, there's quite a few with team that they turn up in training days, and probably I'm one of them as well, I think you just throw clothes on in the morning and just rock up to training. So yeah, there's quite a few in the Bradford team at the moment.
Every credit. Who's the toughest tackler you've come up against in your time in the Championship then?
Toughest tackler? Ooh. I'd have to say someone like, maybe Mickey Iam,
right.
Lee Centurions, he's played in the Super League before, and him having a massive pack around him, he's got to defend well, and yeah, I'd probably say he's a good defender, but overall I've never really specifically, pulled someone out to say they're a class defensive player. So no, there's quite a few thing. But yeah, I'd probably say Mickey Iam at the moment.
Good stuff. And then last one, Adam. How scary is Jimmy if things aren't going well at half time?
Yeah. Well, he's a very hard man to understand. You know, he don't have much facial expression. You know, you don't know if you're doing something good or bad. Really, his eyes don't really change, or his facial expression.
Right.
But no, when you get on the wrong side, you know where you are, and you know what place you need to do and improvements you need to do. But like you say, he's one of them coaches who'll reward you and he'll praise you when you're doing something good, but he'll never put you too higher up on a pedestal. You know, he's always got stuff to learn and stuff to improve on. So no, he's good that way. But no, I wouldn't like to get on the wrong side of Jimmy.
Fair enough. Listen, thanks very much, Adam. We're really grateful for you joining us and being part of the Super League pod. Before we go, there's loads of Bulls fans that listen to us on a weekly basis. Do you have a message for any of the Odsal faithful before we go?
The massive support. You know, they come up to Whitehaven, Cumbria last Saturday, which were a massive push for us. You know, massive atmosphere. The Whitehaven fans didn't have too many, but the Bradford were chanting from 0 minute to 80 minutes. Always behind you. Every time you're scoring or doing something good in the game, everyone's cheering. It's a massive buzz for us. And like you said, when we got knocked into a championship, it were a letdown for us as a team. But the fans have stuck with us and they cheer through. Downs and ups of Rugby League, and it's massive for us as a team. To walk out, at Odsal top and have that massive applause and that atmosphere around you. It's a massive buzz and it improves your game. Because you've got them fans pushing behind you. They pay every week. They pay for season tickets. Stuff in the shops. Shirts, things like that. And it just pushes the club forward, and it's a massive support. And all you can say is, thank you very much for your support.
Okay, that's tremendous stuff. Adam O'Brien, thank you very much for joining us on the Super League pod.
No problem.
Okay, so thanks again to Adam for joining us over the phone. That was a bit of a Super League pod.
We hope the quality was good. We've not heard it back yet.
We hope you enjoy it. Let's smash that fourth wall down again. And let's look at some predictions now for the upcoming World Club Series.
Yeah, we've got the 3 games and we're going to all of them, so that's going to be exciting.
I can't wait. Honestly, last year, it says a great deal if this is, one of your big regrets in life, but one of my big regrets from last year was not going
to the Warrington game,
to these games. Well,
you didn't come to Wigan either,
I didn't come to Wigan either. I only came with you to watch. I mean, to be fair, watching Smithy watch Saints get butchered like that was, worth the entrance fee alone. By the end of that game, I was more kind of watching him. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to a weekend jam-packed with Rugby League, and it starts on Friday night for us down at Langtree Park as St Helens welcome the Sydney Roosters. Mark.
Yeah, I don't have a real good feeling about where this one's going to go, because Sydney, I'm not sure how they're pulling together with some new players in the back line.
Well, that's the big question.
With Tuivasa check out, and also with Mitchell Pearce still rehabilitating himself.
RTS is out. Mitchell Pearce won't be playing. They've lost Michael Jennings, who's a big part of that side in terms of their attacking play. I just don't know if they're going to be able to. I still think they're probably better than St Helens based on what
they've got. A ton of wingers, but no full back and centre. It feels like.
Yeah, I mean they've got a very strong forward pack led by Jared Warrior-Hargreaves as well. So
I like the look of Big Evans as well. I think he's going to have an imposing season. Kane Evans.
Yeah. So that's the interesting battle for me, is watching these two big packs go up against each other, because guys like Wormsley are just going to be bang up for this and showing what they're made of.
He's the one to watch, isn't he, for St Helens?
Yeah,
good
definitely.
of you to point him out, because I wasn't going to, but he's the man we need to see test himself at this level.
Yeah, because that will say everything you need to know about his international credentials as well. That'll answer some questions for us. If Saints can get their halves clicking and their forwards match up well against Sydney, there's a case to be made that Sydney just won't fancy it on a chilly night in the north, having come a long way. But Saints were piss poor last week. And if you start picking a team the way that Kieran Cunningham picked the team that played against Salford, Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook will get found out at centre.
Well, what choice has he got though? Because Mark Percival's injured as well now, isn't he? So the centres could be Vega.
Jordan Turner seems to not be a fucking centre anymore for some reason. The solution is pretty fucking clear. Jordan Turner goes into the centres. Theo Farge plays at half back with Luke Walsh, and you patch your team up a little bit that way. That's the answer.
Travis Burns and the young halfback Richardson both had, I think that's his name, both had decent games in the reserve game, obviously against a young Wigan side.
Travis Burns seems well out of favour.
But if there's two people looking to bring in, there's people there. Yeah. There's people there.
Stick Farge at hooker and bring in Travis Burns. Don't fuck about with. I mean, look, I like Jordan Turner, but don't put him in the halves for this one. Put him back at centre and just.
Well, you need to do something, don't you? Yeah.
Something better than Louis
What do you think, Ben?
Roosters by 12.
Yeah, I'm going to go Roosters by 18.
There you go. Okay, so Saturday night's game, and ahead of this, you and I are going to be at large in Wigan Town Centre, aren't we? Not a proper official meet-up, but we'll be tweeting about where we're going and
Johnny Bullied will be looking out for you and your missus. Get in touch and I'll hit you up. But the plan for me is mid-afternoon, head to Wigan. I want to go to the Wigan the shop and get an home shirt if I can.
Yeah.
Then we'll hit the Anvil. We'll hit the
Wigan Central.
We'll hit Wigan Central, but before there, after the Anvil, we'll go to the name escapes me, but it's one I've not been to before, but it was talked about in this month's 40-20.
Fantastic.
The barrel and pump, or tap and barrel. There you go. There you go.
So we'll tweet our location out in Wigan, and of course, if Darren Garner and Rob Watson get the opportunity to come and say hello to us, we'd love to see them as well. I know Darren is kind of at the mercy of Rob who's doing the driving, but we're going to be out and about in Wigan, and that is all in preparation for what is now becoming a bit of a historic World Club Series.
Did you see the video Wigan put of all the dust-ups?
Yeah.
Get on Facebook and check that out, that's amazing.
Yeah, so Wigan take on the Brisbane Broncos on Saturday night, and we know a little bit more about what Wigan have in store because the Brisbane squad has been announced, essentially. So you're going to see the likes of Adam Blair, Darius Boyd, Greg Eden, Herman SASA, Matt Gillett, Alex Glenn, Jordan Carhu, Andrew McCulloch, Josh Maguire, Anthony Milford, Cody Nikarima, Corey Oates, Tom Opposich, Corey Parker, James Roberts, Sam Thaiday, Travis Waddell, Jared Wallace, and a chap called Joe Off Hengawi, thank you, Jesus. My Polynesian needs some polishing.
Right, so Cody Nakamura is going to play in the
Nikarima.
What did I say?
You said Hiro Nakamura.
Did I?
We said Cody Nakamura.
Cody
Hiro Nakamura.
Cody is going to play in the halves, isn't he, instead of Ben Hunt? So that's going to be an interesting one. He's definitely got some talent and potential, so that they're going to have quick halfbacks in there. So if the pack can get going, then it's going to be tough for Wigan. One thing that Wigan can hang their hat on this year, if they've not been going well together in the attack, they've only conceded 3 tries in 2 games. Only let 4 clean breaks get through the line.
Yeah.
They've got 96% tackle success, which is very close to being the best in Super League so far this season. And they're only allowing the opposition to 5.8 metres per carry. So these are all really strong defensive numbers for Wigan. You've got to think that that's a boost for them ahead of this game.
Yeah.
That's why ultimately I think Wigan can hold on for a win. I'm going to go Wigan by 2 points.
Right. See, I actually fancy you for more than this, looking at this squad. I know Brisbane have been over here for a while and they'll be settled in, but there are some big players missing for Brisbane, and it's been a big trip up for them. And one of their most important players, Sam Thaiday, was actually involved in the World All-Stars game, playing for the Indigenous All-Stars, and he's only just setting off. So how ready to make an impact Sam Thaiday is going to be come Saturday with the jet lag and what have you, I don't know. This is one of the games I fancy the British team to come out on top in. I'm going Wigan by 12 in a bruising encounter. I don't know if it'll necessarily be very, very high scoring. I think a lot depends, as you were alluding to, on the performance of the Brisbane halfbacks and kind of what goes on there. But I think Wigan have got enough in the tank to prevail. They didn't perform badly last week. There was some gaps there that they'll need. There's some things that they need to work on, but they certainly weren't blown out of the water. A la Saints and Leeds, exactly. I think
put Williams back in, and there's a bit more to the attack.
I think so. Yeah, I know. I can see Wigan by 12.
I'm excited to see James Roberts in the flesh. He's a very fast, exciting centre. But outside of that, it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Anthony Milford and Cody Nikarima. They're the two big draws for me, I would say. I'm a big fan of Sam Thaiday. I like him as a pro. Do you know what I mean? He's been around and done it all. But those 2 youngsters are the ones that I'm looking forward to watching. And Jordan Carhu as well. Jordan Carhu's an immense talent as well. So there's some good talent in that side.
Yeah.
But I think that we're going to come out on top, which takes us